Episode 21 of IKOTR. I'm Bob Collian Jr. With me, as always, is Austin Skinner.
And no, I know what you're thinking. I'm not your boy toy.
Who was saying that?
Sherry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know maybe Luna was hitting you up.
Load up a shot.
That's a good Luna. It's better than
She's
what I am.
scary. She's scary.
No, it's Scary Sherry.
Well, now you're giving too much away.
I guess. So we are almost done with May. As we've had this journey, we are, 3 weeks away from the King of the Ring?
Yeah, yep.
Before we get into any news and stuff like that, what is your opinion on the product thus far? Considering, a lot of it you haven't seen.
Well, yeah, especially now really kind of almost halfway through the year. I would say this stuff I definitely have not seen. Probably the last month or so. And compared to where we were in January, it's almost like a different company. It's crazy night and day, just entertainment value-wise. How much things have really ramped up. It's blatantly obvious the move away from the old and into the new, and I am really appreciating that.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the influx of new talent because everybody else seems to be kind of
Stale.
played out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
stale.
So we got a new generation. I guess you could say.
Something like that.
A little bit.
Yeah.
So if you have any opinions on the product at this point, you can send it along to us at IKOPodcast@gmail.com, or then just post something on the IKOPod Facebook page by just searching IKOPod, and we'll eventually read them on the air whenever they come in. If you've listened to any episodes in the past and you have opinions on the Royal Rumble, or you have opinions on Flair Perfect that different from us or whatever, be sure to send them along, and we'll have like a little segment at the end of it. If there's a eventual comments or overwhelming amount of comments, we'll read them on the air and discuss them. As we've noted before, I have a few for this episode
Awesome.
regarding a debut. So
Uh-oh.
I figured I'd point that out moving forward. So let's just get right into it, I guess. Some of the observer notes here is that Marty Jannetty, who recently won the WWF Intercontinental Championship, had been in talks with WCW Japan and the possible wrestling promotion that Paulie Dangerously had planned, or was starting to plan. So apparently Vince McMahon decided that it was a good time to maybe sign him up before he signed with any of those potential competitors.
I wonder what the true validity of Marty signing with. Maybe I could believe WCW. I don't know about Japan. Maybe ECW. Well, 93?
Well, that's not in. I don't think that's in relation to ECW.
Oh, okay.
I think it was around this time that Paulie Dangerously and like Jim Crockett were working on something,
Oh.
like WWN or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, I have no knowledge of that.
Yeah,
so,
I know very little about it. But
yeah, I don't know. I don't see Jannetty in 93 really. I feel like that would be a mistake for him. I guess you could do it in WCW. That would make sense.
I don't really see him fitting in WCW.
At this time, no.
They
but,
did have a lightweight division.
Right. That's kind of what I'm thinking
Yeah.
along the lines of. But, yeah, I think he made the right decision to go back. And in the long run, I don't know if it would have made sense anywhere else, really.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of all the guys in WCW. I kind of think he'd be lost rather quickly in the shuffle there.
Yeah.
Speaking of Jannetty, winning the title was so last minute that there aren't any clear plans, but the general idea would be a rematch with Shawn Michaels at King of the Ring.
Sure, that makes sense. Yep. Although, once we kind of get into this week's Raw, I have some opinions where I'd like to see Jannetty go with the title, but we'll wait till that point.
All right, we will get there when the time comes. The Kid is being promoted as the Cannonball Kid on the house show circuit, but that could be changed.
As it has been a couple times already, so.
Yeah, he's on, 4 names now or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Over on to the house shows. We have 2 shows. One that took place on May 21st and the second one on May 22nd. The show on May 21st was from Hershey, Pennsylvania, and it was at the Hershey Park Arena with a crowd of around 2,800. And the card featured Tito Santana taking on the Brooklyn Brawler, Luna Vachon battling Sensational Sherry, WWF Intercontinental Champion Marty Jannetty substituting for Mr. Perfect by battling Papa Shango. Yokozuna and Jim Duggan continued their feud. Bob Backlund took on Damian Demento. Lex Luger squared off against Bret Hart. And in the main event, The Undertaker battled Bam Bam Bigelow.
That's an interesting card. I feel like there's a couple swaps in there. Surprised to see Luger and Bret Hart working the circuit here. I feel like, is that a little early?
Well, they had done one early in May.
Okay. Because we haven't seen anything on TV much, right?
No, but I think it's just basing off of when Luger hit him with the forearm at
the
press conference there, or the brunch. So that might be just a house show feud, which they've been known to do that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, they're not going to have a TV feud or a main event or a pay-per-view feud.
Right.
So it might be just a way of having something exclusively for house shows.
Sell some tickets. I'm also interested in the Luna Sherry match. Looks like we got, about 5 minutes for a time run on that?
Yeah, it says it goes about 5 minutes and 3 seconds. The Luger Hart match has it saying that it goes almost 21 minutes.
Wow.
I don't know how much of that is like rest holds and stuff from Luger.
Filler, sure. Yeah. Very interesting card. A very kind of a mixed bag, I would say. It's very weird to me that Bob Backlund and Damian Demento are very deep in the card, and it looks like they went over 10 minutes.
Yeah, almost 13.
Perfect. Yeah, that sounds good.
I'm kind of intrigued by it, I guess. I mean, like I've mentioned before, like I said, if Luna and Sherry were going to be on house shows, judging by what they've done on TV, I'm inclined to maybe want to check that out.
Me too.
Just to see how they would interact.
Yeah, me too.
Yoko and Duggan, I mean, it's still
makes sense.
Pretty
still got
prevalent
some heat.
feud.
Yeah.
Luger Hart is something I'd probably want to check out.
I'd probably go to that show.
Yeah, and I mean, Taker Bigelow in the main event doesn't sound...
Yeah.
They had a pretty decent match at March WrestleMania.
Right.
I mean, it only goes 5 minutes, but if you're just judging it by the card, you might be inclined to check it out.
Okay.
On May 22nd, they had a show in Philadelphia at the Spectrum, and that show featured Owen Hart taking on Terry Taylor, the Head Shrinkers taking on the Steiner Brothers, and I want to note before that it has the Head Shrinkers winning.
Oh. Wow.
So that would have to be considered a huge upset, if that is accurate. Doink the Clown took on Crush. Randy Savage battling Giant Gonzalez. Virgil and Blake Beverly competed in singles action. Tatanka met Razor Ramon. And in the main event, WWF World Champion Hulk Hogan teamed with Brutus the Barber Beefcake to take on the WWF Tag Team Champions, Money Incorporated, and Sergeant Slaughter was a special referee.
Oh. Tell you what, I like that card a lot.
I like both the cards.
Yeah, I think they're pretty strong. I would say, of course, take out fucking Virgil versus Blake Beverly.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that was a popcorn match. I'm very interested in the Tatanka Razor Ramon pair up. I'm sure that might have been something pretty good. Savage Giant Gonzalez is very interesting to me. Very interesting choice. Maybe just to get Savage on a house show in Philadelphia. I'm not sure. Especially at the Spectrum. Yeah. Owen Hart and Terry Taylor was probably some solid back and forth work, even though I find Terry Taylor quite boring. And like you pointed out, the Head Shrinkers defeating Ricky and Scott Steiner. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, the Spectrum show seems like a stronger card overall.
Yes.
Because as you know, really the only lackluster match in terms of anything redeeming is probably Virgil and Blake. I do want to know here, the crowd for that is around 8,400.
Okay.
So
that's quite a bit.
It seems like a decent crowd.
Yeah.
For the time. So those are two shows that I would say we both would.
Yeah, we'll make a day. We'll make a weekend out of it, or whatever it was. We'll hit the 21st. We'll hit the 22nd.
Yep. I mean, it's a different cruise, so you're not going to see anything redundant. So.
Yep.
Into syndication news, we have on May 22nd edition of Superstars, it was announced that the Steiner brothers would team with the Smoking Guns to wrestle the WWF Tag Team Champions Money Incorporated and the Head Shrinkers at the King of the Ring. Adam Bomb and his manager Johnny Polo made their official debuts on the May 22nd Superstars. And then also on the show, Crush battled Shawn Michaels in a King of the Ring qualifying match. And yes, we checked it out.
We sure did, Bob.
So go ahead. What do you have for that match?
All right. So it was I kind of had decent hopes for this one. I'm really, especially for you, Bob, I'm really trying to give Crush the benefit of the doubt. Okay.
All right.
He got a pretty bad shake. WrestleMania and after WrestleMania. So maybe we'll see an upswing. We'll see what happens. All right. So in my notes here, I have that the crowd seemed to still love Crush during his entrance. So he was pretty over still. They popped pretty big on his basic power moves. So throughout the match. Although Crush no-sold the clothesline from the former IC champion and basically hoisted him over his head for a gorilla press like he wasn't even there. So it's kind of bummed out that, okay, Crush is getting a good showing here, but he's no-selling the fucking former champ Shawn Michaels. So I wasn't too big of a fan on that one. Got to a point, action spilled out to the outside of the ring, and Crush got Michaels back in and awkwardly crawled like in between the bottom and middle rope. That looks stupid. It's just, how is Crush still to this point so inexperienced? It's just, he's so awkward. Even with some of his basic moves, it's like he stumbles, or like this, he's getting in the ring like he's never gotten to a ring before. I don't know. I'm trying to work with you, Bob. I'm trying.
Oh, I appreciate it.
But Crush got, of course, after a few seconds here, the Crush got him into that vice grip, I don't know what he calls it, move.
The cone of ice.
Oh, there you go. And as the bell continued to ring while the crowd went nuts, the official announcement came in that it was indeed declared a countout. And, of course, I thought that was BS. Because holy shit, I can't even count on both my hands and both my feet how many times we've gotten a count-out fucking finish for these King of the Ring qualifier matches. It's insane.
Yeah, so if you include this match, how many other ones were there?
I feel like...
Perfect Doink, I know, had like a double count-out, didn't they?
I think twice. Wasn't it twice that happened?
No, they had time limit draws.
Oh, yeah, okay. So, yeah, they were time limit draws.
Sure, I guess, yeah.
But no, there was...
They do use the count-out quite a bit.
So many times. I can't even remember, like, wasn't Backlund and Ramon a count-out or something like that?
Yeah, because when we were like, oh, why wouldn't he just go over him?
Yeah. Dude, I don't know. There's way, way, way too many.
See, we're not really good at remembering things.
Well, because it's so often here. It's happening so often.
Right.
That's not good. Like, you should... King of the Ring qualifier match. You should probably remember the finish. It's qualifying for you're building it as a wicked prestigious tournament. And fuck, I can't even remember what the finish was because it was all DQs and no finishes and countouts and a whole bunch of, a slew of BS.
Yeah, it is kind of weird the amount of non-clean finishes they've been doing.
I really don't like it. But you know what? The crowd was pretty into this match. Though, personally, I don't think it was anything special. I'm glad to see Crush still has a little bit of popularity behind him, but with stuff like this, man, it's not gonna last. It's not gonna last.
Well, aside from the poor finish, I thought they had a pretty solid match, consistent action, and it actually kind of held my interest. The video on YouTube ran for like 7 minutes, but I think the match is like 6 and maybe some change, like 5 minutes. But it looks like for me, Crush is capable of good matches as long as he has somebody that's carrying him. So if you're a huge fan of Crush or Shawn Michaels and you want to go on YouTube and check it out, it might not be the worst way to spend some time.
Well, and it's interesting you point that out because for the hell of it, I decided to kind of scroll down in the comments section, and I don't have this in my notes, but I do remember it. Somebody had wrote, obviously somebody who had seen it during the time, that as a kid, this was their favorite match. And they loved Crush. And they specifically remember back to this match being like, oh my God, I loved this as a kid. This was my favorite match. So it's very interesting to see maybe my perspective of it, watching it 20 years later without ever seeing it, compared to guys like Mike Campbell that always writes in, and this guy on YouTube who watched it unfold as it happened and might have really enjoyed it. So I thought that was interesting to point out.
Yeah. Moving on to Wrestling Challenge from May 23rd, Jerry Lawler debuted the King's Court, which is essentially a talk show segment, and he had Giant Gonzalez and Harvey Whippleman on it, and they just discussed The Undertaker. Also on Wrestling Challenge, Mr. Hughes took on Kamala in a King of the Ring qualifying match, and by God, yes, we checked that one out too. Does that mean you don't want to talk about it?
All right, so you know what? Kamala's one of my guys, okay? And I do appreciate Mr. Hughes. So, on the surface, you would think, hey, this is probably going to be about a 2-minute match. Squash. Mr. Hughes goes over clean. We're done. We're out of there.
Call it a day. Get the heel over.
Right? Kamala would know how to, I would assume, get the guy over maybe a little bit. Well, no, that's not what happened here. Let me explain to you what I saw. So Kamala comes out to a very mixed reaction. I feel like the crowd at this point has no idea how to even react to this guy. Do we cheer him? Do we boo him? Do we not care? Do we care? We don't know. Okay? So we're starting off with that. Hughes comes out, gets no reaction at all. Crowd is dead silent. Like they're not even watching it.
Well, here's the thing. I'm thinking that this match was largely taped prior to any time Hughes was on television.
Oh.
So I think this was taped realistically in either late April or like very early into May.
So this is maybe the first time they're seeing him?
Like the live, like in the crowd.
Ah.
Yeah. So I know he's appeared on Raw already.
Right.
So the crowd back then, Raw had that
wouldn't
era,
have known.
Yeah, they don't know who he is.
You wouldn't know.
Which is a negative here of having taped syndication
Yeah.
shows and having a live Raw, because when you go back and look at syndications, like this guy in front of a 6,000 seat arena, nobody knows who he is.
Yeah, he literally, like, it was just quiet. It was like he wasn't even coming out. It was horrible. Kind of bummed out about that. This match was, again, I thought we were only going to get about a minute or two out of this. Basically, that's kind of what we got. So Hughes was all over Kamala, taking advantage of him in the corner very quickly into the match. And I just think it was a kind of a poorly chosen matchup here. Why pair Kamala and Mr. Hughes together? I feel like you're not going to get much out of that. So, on the surface, again, I don't mind these two guys fighting against one another when they're two big guys and you're trying to get one guy kind of over the other. I feel like it doesn't make sense. That's just me. So, okay, here's some I'm going to do some redeeming things in this match, all right?
Okay.
So, Hughes was hitting really, really big, decent drop kicks on Kamala. Looked really good for a fucking, presumably 400-pound man, or 300-pound man. And then, guess what, Bob?
It went down real quick.
Like a fucking nosedive. Yeah. Because after these pretty good little offense, a flurry of moves in the beginning of the match, Mr. Hughes in control, Kamala takes over and quickly goes for his fucking upside down, lo and behold, the little stupid pin thing. Why? Why are we still doing that? Why is Mr. Hughes letting him do that?
Yeah, well, it came off of what? It came off the Savant kick there.
Yeah, it was, yep. And even that kind of looked a little sloppy, if I remember correctly.
It looked like he held the rope so he wouldn't fall.
Yeah. So, dude, don't piss me off this early into the podcast.
I'm trying not to.
There was a silver lining other than the drop kicks. And do you know what that is,
It's
Bob?
that kimchi came out.
It's fucking that kimchi came out. Thank God my savior is here to save me from this BS of a match. All right, so here comes Kimchi. He distracts Kamala and pretty much gets Kamala counted out. So, shocker, we get another fucking count-out finish. And Hughes so Kamala's distracted. He gets counted out. Hughes is in the ring, kind of recovered from the BS offense that Kamala hit on him. And Hughes gets knocked out from the ring by Kamala. So, Kamala runs back in and kind of, I don't know, punches him out or clotheslines him out. And following the bell, Kamala chases Harvey Whippleman towards the back, who is right now Hughes' manager.
Right.
So we get a very convoluted, one manager runs in, causes the finish, he kind of leaves, and then Kamala chases another manager out to the back, and it was very, like, what the fuck is going on? What is this match? What angles are they trying to set up here? I didn't get the pair from pretty much when the bell rang to the end.
Yeah, I know when I was looking up this match, I kind of did like the Rock eyebrow. Like, what?
Yeah.
Hughes and Kamala. I mean, this match goes about like 3 minutes.
Right.
It's not a very long match or anything. However, everything you described and said is pretty much what I had written down here. I did find it bizarre, though, that Kamala figured out how to pin Kimchi on the floor.
Oh, my God. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, like he had him. He was like, oh, I got it.
Oh.
And it's like, what, you didn't know how
so
to
pin
Hughes.
Yeah, he can pin Kimchi.
On the floor.
Yeah,
the guy's not even in the match. Yeah. Not even in the ring, but he had him perfectly fine pinned.
Oh, my God.
And seemingly just erasing, like, 5 months now of that angle there that he just suddenly remembered.
You know, I'm going on record right now. Are you ready for this earth-shattering statement I'm about to make?
Let me prepare myself. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, hold on to something. Are you holding on?
I am holding.
Fuck Kamala.
What?
Fuck Kamala.
Oh my God.
Fuck Kamala.
2 minutes ago, you were like, he's my guy.
He's one of my guys. But you know what? After this match,
I
was like, dude, I can't do this anymore.
Wow.
I can't do this anymore. Wow. Not Kimchi. Kimchi's still one of my guys.
So it's just Kamala.
Fuck Kamala.
Wow.
I'm done. I'm done with it.
That is monumental.
Up until this point, I liked Kamala. I liked what was going on. Wasn't having too bad of matches, I thought. You know, with Doink and him had a decent match, blah, blah, blah. This match, dude, nope, I'm done. I'm done.
Well, I think we're almost done with Kamala's run.
Yeah, well, I am done the fuck now.
All right.
Yeah.
Personally, I mean, I didn't enjoy the match or anything. I thought it was a worse finish than the Michaels crush that we had.
Yeah, no shit.
Earlier on, so.
This was horrible.
I'm just saying, all right.
Don't fucking watch this match.
Yeah, I don't.
It's bad.
If you want to, I want to watch the whole King of the Ring tournament.
No,
qualifiers.
Skip this.
Skip the Hughes Kamala.
Skip this.
Save your hassle. Moving on from there, we go now into the May 24th edition of Raw, which is taped from the Manhattan Center. So this show was also the same, essentially taped the same day as the May 17th show.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that one.
So if it just gives you a little bit of perspective, maybe.
Huh.
The show starts off with the Raw opening video, and then we go right into the venue or arena where Vince McMahon, Bobby Heenan, and Randy Savage are talking and let us know what we'll see on the show. They promote Adam Bomb, who will be making his debut.
Yes.
And Heenan says that Bomb will explode a bomb on Raw. And we will see yet again Mr. Perfect and Doink in a qualifying match for the King of the Ring. And then Heenan puts some glasses on, saying he's ready for some double or triple vision. Now, before we get into the first match here, which is Perfect and Doink, I just want to point out though that Crush and Michaels have a count out finish, and they're out of the tournament.
Right.
Now these guys have had 2 draws. And now we're on a third qualifying match.
We're not giving up yet.
No. So they had a draw on Superstars.
Yeah.
And the next week they had a draw on Wrestling Challenge.
Right. And
then the third time's a charm because it's going to be on a taped Raw.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe they had more hopes for because so if I'm remembering correctly, the first match was really good, pretty good.
Yeah, the first match was pretty good, and the
second one was not bad. So maybe they're thinking, the third one it's going to be wicked good because it's on Raw, hype crowd. And they do get a decent amount of time. So maybe they're thinking, like you said, third time's the charm here. We'll get a decisive person going into the King of the Ring tournament, and we'll get a pretty damn good match out of it.
Well, just from a storyline perspective, it's just they choose to do things when it's convenient for them.
Oh, of course.
Instead of being like, okay,
yes, of course.
You're both out of the tournament.
I'm trying to validate it for you, Bob.
All right.
Trying to make sense of this. Real quick, too, you mentioned Adam Bomb. I am fucking pumped for Adam Bomb. I like Adam Bomb. I like his look. I remember him being a pretty, he'll throw guys around type of guy, and I like those type of guys. And coming off of 2 really pretty good Raws the last 2 weeks, I was actually excited to watch this episode. And I got to tell you, before, especially kind of dragging through February a little bit, and even at some of April, it was rough.
I thought March was way worse than February. I would say probably from
February, March.
Yeah, I'm thinking
February,
from mid-March.
Yeah.
Through probably all of April. TV-wise, Raw-wise.
Yeah, April was rough.
to me, that's pretty much when it's just like dragging along. Nothing really monumental happening. Like February had some decent build for Mania, and then March was just
right.
kind of forgetting about things or whatever.
Yeah.
And then April was
Mixed bag.
continuation of various things that you didn't really want to see or anything.
Right,
But
right.
May so far has just been
awesome.
fire.
Loving it.
Yeah.
Loving it. So, yeah, that's kind of where I was at going into this Raw. So.
All right. So the first match of the evening is Mr. Perfect and Doink in a King of the Ring qualifying match, as noted for the third attempt here. During Doink's entrance, he goes under the ring, and Lord Alfred Hayes is shown outside, saying that a second Doink is right next to him.
Yes, so I really want to point out, this Doink that came out in the arena, to me, did not look like Matt Bourne. I feel like when he came out, I was like, that's not Matt Bourne. Before I even know that Lord Alfred Hayes was standing by with somebody, I feel like I picked up on that immediately.
See, I didn't focus on that. I should have.
I don't
but I
know.
didn't.
I feel like that wasn't Matt Bourne.
It seemed like the guy outside was Matt Bourne.
Yes.
Just judging by his voice.
Yes.
So I was kind of under the assumption that maybe that was a pre-tape,
I'm thinking so.
and that it was still Matt Bourne in the actual arena for the match part.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what I'm just thinking.
The one that comes out and goes under the ring did not look like Matt Bourne. Just saying.
Oh, for when he originally comes out.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Just saying.
The Doink outside then sprays Alfred with with water from his flower.
Yep.
And then says that he's just an illusion. The Doink from under the ring then reappears for the match to take place. Doink attacks Perfect as soon as he enters the ring and then chokes Perfect with his towel. And then Doink tosses Perfect across the ring with a towel around his neck. Doink wipes himself with the towel to get some cheap heat there. Perfect fights back with some strikes and then has the towel to clothesline Doink. Perfect trades strikes with Doink and then he delivers a leg sweep and a knee drop to Doink's left knee. Perfect wraps Doink's leg around the ring post as we go to our first commercial break.
Now let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Okay, so we get the leg sweep, the knee or whatever. Every time that these guys square off, Perfect is working Doink's legs.
Yes.
Perfect's finish is the perfect plex.
Right.
Why is he working Doink's legs?
Well, because he's going to have to use his leg to kick out of the perfect plex because one leg's held in the air.
No, that's stupid.
How's that stupid? That makes sense.
The perfect plex, you hit like your back.
No, right. But I'm saying if he's going to try to kick out, so if he hooks him with, let's say, his right leg and he works over his left leg, then his left leg isn't going to be able to power out of the move if it's weakened.
No.
What?
No.
That's
bullshit.
That's some logic.
No.
I think you're just mad because that's like, wow, okay.
Are you shitting me?
That's what I would think, right?
No.
That makes the most sense to me.
No, if I'm Mr. Perfect, I'm throwing big grapples and pounding this dude's back. So that when I hit him in the perfect plex, I knock the air out of him and he fucking can't breathe. Not his little leg. Like, what is that going to do?
Well, if he hooks the guy's leg. Well, hang on a minute. I'm just trying to think. So if I'm Perfect, he comes at me. I guess you'd be hooking his right leg.
You don't know.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if I were to grab you, I'd be grabbing your left leg. So you should be working over the right leg.
They don't do that.
Okay, so then my logic makes no sense.
Okay, then.
He never hits it with his left arm doing it. He always goes right.
Yeah, because that's the way he tucks his head, I think,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
All right, so then that makes no sense.
Yeah,
Because
fuck
it's his left leg
Fuck
that
that.
he works over.
Logically, I don't get it. Like, okay, if it's Bret Hart, you're
It's storytelling.
No. If you're Bret Hart and you're fighting Mr. Perfect and he's working over your legs for the sharpshooter, okay.
Yeah.
He can't do the sharpshooter. His legs hurt. What's fucking doing? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't
what?
know.
I don't know. I don't get it. I don't like it.
Did Doink work over Perfect's leg at all? Maybe it's like revenge. Like, oh, you're gonna fuck up my legs, I'll fuck up yours.
No, I think the other two matches, Perfect was working over Doink's legs. Both times. Unless, you know what? Has Doink been kind of feigning a weak knee or something? I feel like I remember him maybe even at WrestleMania. Like he's got problems with his knee or something.
I don't know.
Did Crush attack him and hit him in the knees?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't remember anything.
But yeah, I feel like lately maybe that's why he's been selling the knees. I don't know. It's an easy thing to sell, maybe the legs.
Maybe it's probably just a basic storytelling.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, oh, I'll work over your shoulder.
I don't like it.
Clearly you don't. Back from commercial, Doink kicks Perfect out of the corner, and then he is noticeably selling his left leg while continuing to beat on Perfect with strikes. and then Doink tosses Perfect over the tops of the floor. Doink comes off the apron with a double axe handle to the floor, and then rams Perfect into the ring post shoulder first. Perfect is on the apron and tries to fight back, but is decked by Doink, and then Doink takes Perfect over with a slam, but Perfect gets control with the head scissors. Doink gets control of Perfect's left arm, but isn't going to get a submission with that. Perfect breaks free and stomps on Doink's left leg, followed by jerking Doink's leg backwards. Perfect gets the deathlock on Doink, looking for another submission, and then as Doink is getting pinned, he pops up his shoulders up, and he gets slapped in the face a couple of times, which was kind of funny. And then Doink eye rakes Perfect on the third attempt and then dumps him to the floor. Doink then sends Perfect shoulder first into the ring post. Perfect tries to roll back into the ring, but Doink stops him and drags him by his arm to the post. Doink wraps Perfect's right arm around the post, and I just want to note right now, that is the first time I've seen anyone use the right side of the body for an attack.
Nice.
I was waiting.
There you go.
Because I knew it was going to happen at some point in time, and by God, it happened.
There you go.
Let it be known, May 24th, 93. It happened.
Doink worked the right arm.
The right arm. The right shoulder for like a second.
Yeah.
Doink keeps control of Perfect on the mat with a top wrist lock, and then Doink stomps on the elbow of Mr. Perfect. Doink delivers a hammerlock scoop slam for a near fall, and then we go to our second commercial break in the match. This is like a rarity. I feel like we don't really get a lot of 2 commercials in this.
Maybe they're trying to bang them out because we got some big stuff coming up.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Perfect ducks a wild strike, and Atomic drops Doink, followed by a clothesline, and then Doink sends Perfect face first into the middle turnbuckle. Perfect fights back with a clothesline to send Doink to the floor. A second Doink then comes down and crawls under the ring, and the second Doink pulls the original Doink under the ring to replace him.
Second Doink is not Matt Bourne.
Right. It's
Absolutely not.
Who do you think it is?
I'm thinking it's Kern.
Oh, I forgot about Kern. It could have been.
I'm thinking it's him because if you notice too, not to skip ahead a little bit, but once this second Doink gets in the ring, not only is the crowd chanting, "There are 2 Doinks," like obviously, they never get the camera too close to this other Doink. Like they never do, because with Matt Bourne, they get a lot of face shots, a lot of blah, blah, blah. They keep the camera pretty pulled back for when this other Doink is in here, because of course, makeup only goes so deep. If you're too close, you're going to see that it's a different guy.
Yeah, you'll kill the illusion.
Right. So yes, go ahead, Bob.
Perfect tries for a snapmare back in the ring, but Doink fights back with a series of strikes to send Perfect into the corner, and then Doink monkey flips Perfect out of the corner. Perfect counters a backdrop attempt moments later and hits the Perfect Plex for the win. Mind you, that's like 10 seconds after the switch.
Uh-huh.
So
yeah,
that was a bit weird.
Yep.
After the match, both Doinks attack Perfect, hitting him with axe handles, and then Perfect's beaten down to the mat. Crush runs down and attacks both Doinks, and he press slams the original Doink to get some level of revenge. And that kind of closes out that segment. What'd you think of the third attempt here of Perfect and Doink?
So my notes say stupid finish, stupid setup. Otherwise, it was an okay match. Definitely, first match is going to be the best out of the 3 that they had. And I got to be honest, I was glad to see Perfect move on to the tournament. I think he's been kind of turning his act around, having a house of fire underneath him. I even feel like Perfect's lost a little weight since WrestleMania. Maybe I'm just seeing things, but I feel like he's trimmed down a little bit.
He looks like he's toned.
Yeah.
He doesn't have, like, he kind of had a gut going a little bit.
Yeah, like
before.
under the signal, you can still kind of see it, but I feel like it's really not that noticeable. So, good for him. I think it was the right decision. Kind of like we talked about before, even though we're Doink guys, with that character, you can kind of only go so far, whether I'd like to admit it or not. So, all in all, I think all is well as far as the entrant here for the tournament.
I mean, I would have liked to see Doink in it.
Would you?
I mean, the idea of maybe seeing Doink even win the King of the Ring would be kind of funny.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
Having a clown as the king. I mean, there's some possibilities you could go with it.
Sure.
You know?
That would have been interesting.
Yeah. But I guess Perfect makes the most sense. This is one of Doink's first losses, isn't it?
On Raw, it's got to be, yeah. Because I don't remember him losing otherwise on Raw.
He didn't lose the Crush, right, at Mania?
No.
Right. So I don't know who else he's lost to.
Yeah.
On TV.
I can't. Well, I want to say there's been a DQ finish.
Well, yeah, no, but I'm saying like pin.
Oh, yeah. No. I don't think anybody has.
So, I mean, so they don't even make note of that he
Nope.
was essentially undefeated.
Nope.
On television, at least. So. As for the match, I thought it was pretty good. It kept my interest, but I think having them wrestle 2 times previously hurts.
Yes. Because then you're
the
going to
feeling.
naturally compare it. You know
Well,
what
I mean, it's not just that. It's that, like, again, like if you want to go more modern with it, these guys have essentially wrestled 3 times in 3 weeks.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know, so
Yeah.
if you look at it from like today's standpoint of how many times can you see Sami Zayn against Kevin Owens?
Right.
You know, those guys
Right.
wrestled at one point 50 times a month.
And really, is it any different each time?
Yeah, like you can change up the same spots or whatever,
Right.
but it's the same thing. Here.
Right.
And then the finish wasn't the greatest, just because I don't understand why you would have essentially the fresh guy of the switch here lose within 10 seconds.
Come in and get pinned immediately.
Yeah,
immediately.
I guess the argument could be, I mean, they're going to know it's not Doink, but if there is somebody who believes in the illusion of it, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yes.
Needless to say, it is a good win for Perfect, but I really don't want to see Crush and Doink continue their feud.
I agree. Fucking let it die. We talked about this before.
Yeah.
Post WrestleMania, that was a finish. WrestleMania, the story's over. Move on.
Right.
Stop relying on this. It's not working. It didn't work. Doink barely came out looking okay, I think, following that. Crush was crushed, in my opinion, after WrestleMania.
A lot of damage was done.
Yeah. So just stop. They just need to stop doing that.
I mean, it's a feud that's been going on for almost 5 months.
Yeah.
Really. So
that's the problem.
And they have been feuding as well on the house shows there too. So I guess you got to keep some level of interest in that regard. Coming out of that match, we go to the King of the Ring report with Mean Gene. Everyone has qualified. So the last 2 matches there that we mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
So the bracket is full.
Right.
And he goes over the first round matches, and I figured, why don't we just kind of do maybe a brief
of course.
prediction? Because I actually have it so that, it makes the most sense here.
Perfect.
So Bret Hart is the number 1 seed.
Right.
He is taking on Razor Ramon. So by that logic, is Ramon the 8th seed?
Yeah.
I don't understand how he could be the 8th seed.
Well.
Out of all the guys, he's not the worst guy. But, okay, let me just continue from there.
Yeah.
So the winner of Bret Hart Razor Ramon will meet the winner of Mr. Perfect against Mr. Hughes. So it's a battle of the Misters.
Yeah, that's what they're promoting it as, too.
Is it really?
Yeah, well,
I
they
wasn't paying
say
attention.
it. Yeah, they say it.
From there, we got Jim Duggan, and he will take on Bam Bam Bigelow. And then Lex Luger takes on Tatanka. So, a little quick maybe prediction here for the King of the Ring. Bret Hart versus Razor Ramon. Who you got?
Bret Hart.
Perfect and Hughes.
Perfect.
Duggan Bigelow.
Duggan.
Luger Tatanka.
Luger.
All right. So right now you have Hart Perfect, and then Bigelow Luger.
Yeah. No. Hi, Hacksaw.
You have Duggan Luger.
Yeah, Hacksaw, Luger.
All right. So who do you have Hart Perfect?
Well, Bret Hart.
All right. And then you have Duggan Luger.
Luger.
So then you have Hart and Luger in the final.
That's what I'm thinking.
Who do you think is going to win the King of the Ring? Hart or Luger? Judging by the television experience, what you've been seeing on TV.
I would say Lex Luger. I think that's what makes the most sense.
Even with a heel Yokozuna champion, potentially.
Well, there you go. Does Yoko beat Hogan?
I would have to think he does.
I don't know.
Hogan's on TV a lot.
I don't know. Because think of it. I mean, Luger, Hogan, that might be an interesting thing. Would it be a great match? Fuck no, probably not. But storyline-wise, you could do a lot with that.
You could.
So I'm thinking Luger takes the tournament. I've seen the tournament before. I don't necessarily remember exactly who wins. I know a lot of the tournament matches, if I'm thinking of the same tournament, are pretty good. But yeah, based off my predictions of what we've seen on TV, I'm saying Luger wins the tournament.
Well, I don't think we would, I guess, really think the same here. Because I have, obviously, Brett going over Ramon.
Yes.
Perfect over Hughes.
Yes.
Bigelow probably would beat Duggan.
Okay.
And then Tatanka beating Luger.
Really?
Yeah. So, but here's my reasoning with that. I figured that would maybe catch your attention.
Okay.
On the house shows, they've done Tatanka Luger.
Right.
And the finish has been Tatanka getting his shoulder up on a back suplex attempt with
Right.
both their shoulders down. So Tatanka,
Right.
even on the pay-per-view, I guess you can just do the same fucking finish.
Yeah.
So you're still protecting Luger.
Yeah.
So by doing that, the final four would be Perfect and Hart and Bigelow Tatanka. Bigelow Tatanka have a feud going on.
Right.
You know,
Right.
Bigelow's cutting his hair or whatever the case.
Okay.
So I would assume you would go Hart and maybe a shocking moment, Bigelow pins Tatanka.
Really? So you're thinking the finals is what? Bigelow and Brett?
Yeah.
Based off what we've seen on TV? That's quite a boost for Bam Bam Bigelow.
Well, he's been getting some momentum.
Okay. And then I assume you're having Brett win the
Well, you would have to.
tournament. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to have him lose the Bigelow, but...
I don't know. I feel like with all the momentum Hacksaw has, I'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe he just beat him.
Yeah, but...
Because I'm thinking, okay, so you want to make the fans happy. Let's give them a face versus face, Mr. Perfect versus Brett. Really good, solid match. And then you have, of course, Hacksaw Bam Bam, where it's the same gimmick. It's a bigger guy. Hacksaw fights from underneath or whatever, and blah, blah, blah. I don't know.
Well, what if you had Mr. Hughes beat Mr. Perfect? And it's because Mr. Hughes is being presented in a short amount of time as a monster
As
heel,
a
and he
main
takes
guy.
on Bret Hart.
That would be holy shit. And then who's he meet in the finals? Not Hacksaw. Tatanka?
For who? Hughes?
Yeah, who's Hughes meet in the finals?
Well, no, I'm saying he would beat Perfect in the first round.
Okay, yeah.
So then it would be Hughes and Brett. So you're thinking Hughes would beat Brett?
No, I'm just saying, what if he did?
Oh, well, then you would probably have to go Tatanka.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, because you don't want to do two heels.
No.
in the
Especially two
finals.
bigger heels,
Right.
two bigger guys. Yeah, there's a lot of ways they could do it. Your way makes probably the most sense. But I don't know. I feel like with all the hype Luger's been getting, I think it'd be cool to see him. I hate Lex Luger and the Narcissist. But I think it'd be cool to see him as King of the Ring. Like, that would make sense to me.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I think having a guy like Luger who's a narcissist
Yeah, it makes sense.
become a king,
Yeah,
this is going to make it 20 times worse
yeah.
for the fans that have to endure that.
And then to go on to fight Hogan, like, holy shit, that's
Yeah.
a big match.
Yeah, but my reasoning is just, I don't know. I guess I've always been a guy that likes to have the continuation. So the Bigelow Tatanka stuff, it's already a built-in feud.
Right,
Semifinals, the King of the Ring.
right,
Bigelow were to pin Tatanka.
right.
It's a pretty good win for Bigelow, a pretty big moment. Who knows how much it really hurts Tatanka if Tatanka had just beaten Lex Luger.
Right.
You have the out with Tatanka saying he just wrestled, 20 minutes ago or whatever the case is,
Yeah.
however it lines up.
And it kind of makes a star out of Bigelow following this.
Yeah, even if Bigelow were to lose in the finals.
There's no shame in that against Bret Hart.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's the former champion.
Right.
So, I just, if it were up to me and I could really make a guy from the King of the Ring, I'd probably have Luger win it.
Yeah. I mean, the more I think about it, maybe Duggan isn't that big of an underdog because you are right with the momentum he has.
I know.
And in the England tour, there were some Duggan Luger matches.
Yeah.
So there is, I guess, that possibility as well.
That's what I'm
So
thinking.
I guess you don't want to sell him too short. So really, from that perspective, this is a wide open tournament.
Which is good.
Which is great.
Because really leading up to this, the fucking matches are not good. Like the qualifying matches, I would say, 7 out of the 8 are not good. Or whatever it was. I don't know.
Well, there was...
Was there 16? Was there 16 matches?
No.
One from each guy?
Well, Brett didn't have one.
Oh, okay.
So...
We watched a lot. I know that.
Yeah, and freaking Perfect and Doink had 3.
Yeah.
So it made up for Brett not having one.
Yeah.
I did think it was funny, though, that Brett got the bye. This is, hey, you're a former champion. You're
Oh,
good.
yeah, right, right.
So, also, in the King of the Ring report here, we hear from WWF World Champion Hulk Hogan, who will be defending against Yokozuna. And, of course, Hogan has Jimmy Hart with him. He's happy to be back on Raw, even though this is a pre-tape, and he's probably at the studio or whatever. He's not actually at Raw. Hogan thinks that his Maniacs are gaining momentum, and he says that Hulkamania is stronger than ever. Raw has a special meaning for himself and Hart. This is the show where Hart became a Hulkamaniac. Hogan is tired of everyone saying that it was a fluke that he beat Yokozuna and asks why he didn't slam Yokozuna. He's getting ready for Dayton, Ohio, and he will pick up that big fat piece of sushi up and slam him down to the mat. Hulk says that Yoko is going to go down for the last time. What you gonna do when he destroys you?
All right, so let me weigh on this.
Go ahead.
Okay, so just to kind of recap here. Hogan and Jimmy Hart have been adversaries for how long, Bob?
Let's see when Jimmy. I don't even know. I don't know the exact.
4
time.
years.
When we were in '93.
Yeah.
So 89. No, probably longer than that. I think Jimmy Hart got into WWF. Definitely 85-ish, maybe.
Oh,
85,
really?
86.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
So got to be by 87 at least. He and Hogan are not getting along.
Right. I mean, Jimmy Hart, I think, was a good manager of Greg Valentine and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So around
Rhythm
that
and
time.
blues and all that BS.
Well, even when Valentine was just a singles guy.
Oh yeah, before that.
Again, I mean, I could be way off because prior to '86, I'm not the strongest bulb
Come on, Bob.
in the world
Come
for
on.
my wrestling information there. So,
All right. So
but I would say yes, probably within the last 5 years.
okay. So with that backstory, I pulled out a special quote from Hogan here.
All right.
Mind you, to paint the picture for you guys, they're standing in front of a hideous, like brownish gold background, and it's just them. So the setting and what you're seeing on camera, boring as hell. No locker room, no gym. They're just, like Bob said, pretty much in a fucking studio. So you know it's like a setup thing. So here's the quote from Hogan I wanted to pull up here. He says that the only thing bigger than his arms is Jimmy Hart's heart. What? Where
the
is
only
this
thing bigger than Hulk Hogan's arms is Jimmy Hart's heart.
Yeah,
So Jimmy Hart's gonna die.
presumably.
An enlarged heart. That's not good.
Yeah, because Hogan is right now force feeding the pure manure down his throat. So that's going to probably kill him because how does that in any sense make sense?
It doesn't.
Like, why would Hogan say that? You sound
His
ridiculous.
heart, like, I don't understand. Is it the heart of like loyalty or something?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Because Jimmy Hart's not loyal.
Not at fucking all.
He's not loyal to Money Incorporated.
Not at all. To anybody.
To
To anybody. Like, what?
That is hilarious. Just like when we talked
Oh
about
my
it before, I mean, Jimmy
God.
Hart in the last year has turned on 3 tag teams.
I still want him to turn on Hogan and be like, fuck you, I'm still actually with Money Inc.
That
I've
would've
been
been
lying
great.
this whole time.
That would have been great.
I still want that to happen.
Yeah, that should have happened.
Holy shit.
Because I bet you house show business would have gone through the roof.
Oh,
If you have
I'm
that
sure it
annoying
would.
Jimmy Hart
Yeah.
ringside and stuff. Yeah.
I'm sure it would have. Hogan also then basically proceeds to recognize that he says many people consider his title win a fluke. Coming from Hulk Hogan, that's a pretty big admittance.
Yeah.
That, yeah, it pretty much was a fucking fluke.
There was never a bell, never an official
Right.
match.
So for Hogan to admit that, I was like, okay, maybe he's not the liar I think he is here. But then he goes on to say, it blows my mind. He, like you said, he calls Yokozuna a big fat wad of sushi.
Okay.
So that's basically racism.
Sure.
Yeah. From Hulk Hogan, mind you.
There's been a lot of racial undertones, whether it's the scalping.
Yeah,
The
like
jab,
what is going
sushi.
on, dude?
Oh,
What is
man.
going? Remember, fucking IRS yelling to some guy, calling him a homo
Yeah,
or whatever.
faggot or whatever.
Yeah. So I don't know. There's a lot of weird stuff going on. Another thing that was really pissing me off about Hogan here is that he felt the need to validate his words with reminding people constantly that he's a 5-time champion. He said it at least 10 times. 5-time champion,
I do
brother.
remember that.
5-time WWF champion.
I mean, I remember they said like right at the beginning.
And then at the end, he
Yeah.
he puts his hands up. 5 times, brother.
Well, in order to win it 5 times,
You
have
gotta
to
lose it
yeah,
5
lose it.
times. Yeah.
Well, I guess technically he hasn't lost it yet, but
Well, whatever.
he would eventually have to.
Not a big fan of this promo. I thought it was very weak. I feel like Hogan's grasping at straws to try and make this into a feud. You'd think it wouldn't be that hard. Hogan versus a big guy. They've done it fucking 10 times before. But something's just not clicking here. It's the Jimmy Hart thing is weird. The Beefcake ties, then now Beefcake's nowhere to be seen is weird. Hogan himself is in a very weird time of his career. I'm just not enjoying it. I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, this promo certainly wouldn't bring me to the arena.
No.
Or be inclined to buy the pay-per-view.
No. Nope.
You know?
Nope.
So I agree. I mean, the whole partnership with Jimmy Hart, don't really care about it.
It's a head scratcher.
Yeah, Jimmy Hart's a heel manager to me.
Exactly.
He's an annoying guy.
Exactly.
He's a runt.
Yeah.
So
he's like the annoying little mosquito you keep slapping away.
With his megaphone or whatever.
Yeah. Right in your ear, and you're like, oh my God, I hate this guy.
Right. Not going to be a guy, I want to
yes,
talk
he's with
louder.
Hogan, yes!
Talk louder.
No.
Yeah, no. I was not a fan. So that ends the King of the Ring report. And we go back to the arena, and prior to the next match, Money Incorporated make their way out to the ring. And Ted DiBiase says that everyone has a price for him. And that DiBiase has a $100 bill. And it says that him and IRS, they need their boots to be shined. So they're like kind of looking in the crowd, like, who wants $100 to shine our shoes, whatever. And a couple of seconds go by, and DiBiase points to a fan in the crowd. And it's seemingly like an 11-year-old boy. Maybe 11. Maybe like 10.
Or a girl.
It's a guy. It's definitely a boy.
Looks like a woman.
Well, they even mentioned that in commentary.
It's pretty much Nicholas.
Oh, yeah, it is, kind of.
It's
yeah,
Nicholas.
Yep. Heenan, because Heenan's like, who's this broad?
Yeah.
And the man's like, that's a boy.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And he's like, all right.
Yes.
So, the young man enters the ring, and he shines IRS's boots, and he does a little bit for DiBiase as well. And he's about to get the $100 bill, but then IRS is like, well, hang on, kid. That's considered a wage. You know, that's an income.
Right.
So he's got to take some money out of that, and he proceeds to give the kid $30.
Yes.
Because of the taxes. That was hilarious.
I love it. But if you notice, the kid's even still like, hey, $30. Like, thanks, guys.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
He doesn't even realize he just got screwed.
Right. Well, the $100 is like, all right, yeah, cool, $100. And like, well, here's $30. He's like, all right.
Hey.
That paid for my seat.
Yeah.
You know, I'm basically watching a free show.
This segment, as little as it was, first of all, it feels like forever since we've seen Money Inc. So that was nice. Like, I was thankful that they were finally on. And then to do this is a nice little, kind of almost like a throwback.
I was just going to say.
It was really cool.
A reminder of, hey, we're douchebags.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Yeah. So we get an Ico Pro ad with Tatanka, and then the figures ad with Randy Savage, which leads us to our second match of the evening. It is the WWF Tag Team Champions Money Incorporated taking on Mike Bell and Tony DeVito. In case you don't remember or don't know, Mike Bell is actually part of the Bigger, Faster, Stronger documentary that I think is on Netflix. One of his brothers was someone that made that. It's actually really good. And then Tony DeVito would go on to compete in ECW.
Well, it's funny here because I thought it was only fitting that you get these two guys to have an enhancement match with, Money Inc. You're not putting in there PJ Walker and some other young Scott Taylor. You're not putting those guys in there. You're kind of giving them a little step below. Step below.
Right. I think they would probably do much better, though, with the younger guys.
That's what
Smaller
I think.
Guys.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
But maybe at the time the office is thinking, shit, some of these littler guys are fucking lighting it up, and we don't want our former tag champs looking like, well, they're still the still the tag champs.
Yep.
Looking a little bit less than, a little slow.
I wonder if they're
a little old.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So maybe they're using the younger guys for the younger guys that
Yes.
they're trying to build up. I can see that point.
Yes.
Let's just get through the match, I guess, kind of out of the way here. DiBiase and Bell start the match with DiBiase driving Bell face first into the mat. IRS comes off the ropes to deliver an elbow strike. DiBiase comes off the middle rope with a double axe handle to drop DeVito to the mat and then chokes him over the ropes. DiBiase then clotheslines DeVito over the top to the floor before tagging IRS back into the match. At this point, I just want to point out that I find myself not really focusing on the match.
Yeah.
I literally caught myself wandering around, like watching whatever else I had on television, because I usually will watch these on my computer with something else distracting me as well. And I wanted to point that out. That's kind of what's going on here. IRS tosses DeVito with an overhead butterfly suplex. DiBiase comes in and continues with a power slam on DeVito as DeVito was coming off the ropes. And then IRS returns into the match and would pin DeVito following a leaping lariat. It wasn't a bad match.
Right.
Or a bad way of showcasing Money Incorporated, but I kind of find myself losing interest in them in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And I really am kind of surprised I'm saying that.
Well,
Just compared to the other guys coming in or whatever the case is.
And it's funny because I made note here, watching through this match, sitting here and seeing Money Inc., thinking them taking on like the Smoking Guns or the Steiners at this point, you'd think it's not even going to be close. Like Money Inc.'s going to get in the ring, get their ass whooped, and lose the belts real quick.
You would think the Steiner brothers would murder them.
Exactly. So that's where I'm kind of at with these guys. A couple nice little things that I appreciated in this match, though. At one point, Ted was choking one of the enhancement guys over the ropes and yelled down, "How do you like that, Macho Man?" So I kind of appreciated that. Like, oh, a nice little nod to things in the past. I thought that was cool.
Oh, is it calling out Savage?
Yeah. He was like, "Oh, how do you like
Wow.
that, Macho Man?" As he's choking the guy right kind of above the announce table. So I thought that was cool. Also, it's really weird to me. So when IRS hits that huge double underhook suplex that he does,
Yeah.
he looks in better shape than Ted does at this point.
Yeah.
IRS, I feel like, has slimmed down a little bit and is hitting pretty decent ass moves.
Well, remember, DiBiase did have like a herniated disc or whatever.
He's got like back issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that might be impacting his working out and stuff like that.
Yeah, but you know what? It's so weird to think because, like I've said so many times before seeing any of this and just judging Money Inc. on really, really basic knowledge of them, you automatically think, oh my God, Ted was 10 times better. And in this era, and in this time, this year, 93, I don't know if I can say that. IRS has really impressed me for how consistent he's been. Whether he's on the mic or he's in the ring, he never looks quite as blown up or reaching as Ted DiBiase is. So I find that very interesting. Like you said, I thought the match was decent for what it was. I'm glad they didn't put some of the younger guys in there because, again, I think though they would have been able to throw them around a little bit more, I think you would have seen, okay, you know, that's for sure. Now we know these guys are looking kind of old. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, all things considered, it could have gone much, much worse. They get an easy victory here. The IRS hits I believe it's IRS, hits a nice little flying clothesline.
Yep.
So, it is what it is. The Money Inc. in general as a team is not aging well. They are, faltering quickly with all the new talent, all the new teams coming in. Like I said right at my start of my little spiel here, you picture these guys against some of these other younger teams, and you can't even fathom that they'd even be able to put up a fight.
Right.
So.
In large part just because of the moves they're pulling off.
Exactly.
Steiner Brothers doing like a top rope bulldog, or the head shrinkers with their super kicks and splashes and whatever.
Or, the Smoking Guns doing a back body drop into a fucking pile driver. Like, Ted DiBiase would be dead from that.
He'd break his neck.
He's done.
No doubt about it.
He's retired.
Yeah. I wonder, though, just to go back to you mentioning DiBiase yelling out to Macho Man or whatever, I wonder if they do that kind of a way to maybe support Savage. Like, hey, man, we know that you should be in here.
Yeah,
so we're going to
recognize
keep you, like, a shout-out to, like, hey, guys, remember that Savage is here. I wonder if they do that.
I wouldn't be surprised because I think Ted was pretty fun. Well, mutually, I think they both were pretty fond of each other as far as working with each other and stuff like that. Who else just did a shout-out to Macho Man, too? And was like, oh, I see you down there, Savage, or whatever.
I know, like, Razor's done it.
Razor's done it. I want to say another older guy, older heel. Flair.
During the career match.
Flair did it.
Flair definitely had done it.
So that, I love that stuff.
Yeah.
I love that stuff.
Coming out of that, we go to a WWF Mania ad, and it's noted back at the commentary table that Owen Hart will be wrestling Mr. Hughes on Mania in an exclusive match. The announcers hype up the match, and they mention that Owen is on the comeback trail. So I'm assuming the knee injury must not have been that major.
It couldn't have been, because he really wasn't gone very long.
Maybe a month.
Yeah.
I thought he was out until winter, but that is not the case. Coming into our third match of the evening is Crush taking on Bobby Who.
I don't know who.
No, that's his name.
Who?
Bobby Who.
Who?
Bobby.
Oh. Yeah, who was that?
No, it's Bobby Who.
Oh.
Yeah. I guess we had to do that, didn't we? We were obligated to do that little skit there.
When your name's that, you know you're gonna get that.
Right, and I have a mention here from Heenan that I'm sure you probably caught as well. But Crush drops Who with a spin kick to the chest, and then drives Wu down with a vertical suplex. It continues with a leg.
Did you just say drops Wu?
Drops Wu.
No, it's Who.
Oh, I said Wu? I did say Wu. Drives Wu.
No, it's Who.
I said that one on purpose. Drives Who down with a vertical suplex, and then also follows up with a leg drop as Who rolls to the floor. They get back into the ring where Crush puts a bear hug on Who, and at this point, Heenan makes fun of Bobby's name, saying his mom must have slept with the band members from the 70s, in reference to The Who.
Ha ha ha.
Come on, that's...
Bobby could have done way better.
He could have done that, but yes.
That was like a I'm going to phone it in joke.
Right.
Just not to cut you off here, but real quick, I thought Crush was throwing in some really weak offense. So they're in the bear hug. He then throws a pretty weak looking belly to belly. He got a very weak reaction compared to the qualifying match we saw. Of course, it's Raw. I know it's the New York crowd or whatever, but just night and day. You can see where really Crush can shine and where he does not. And I'm kind of thinking here he's more or not. But
right.
That's just
so as you mentioned, Crush takes over Who with a belly-to-belly suplex, followed by Woo. He then proceeds to press slam Who and plays to the crowd and then finishes him off with a cone of ice. You're absolutely right. I mean, the crowd's pretty much dead.
Oh, yeah. No reaction.
This. And I think this is an indicator of what I mentioned earlier, is Crush is capable of good things when he's with a good worker.
And right in the right front, right crowd. The atmosphere is very important for Crush because Manhattan, Raw, Crush is dead in the fucking water.
If he's in Omaha, Nebraska,
he's over.
They're going to go nuts.
Yeah.
But in front of New York, maybe not.
Probably not.
Which is kind of surprising. I mean, they're usually into the big guys.
You would think.
Yeah,
you would think. Also here, so on commentary, Bobby says that after speaking with his friend Johnny Polo, Adam Bomb will be the force of the 90s. So I thought that's interesting. They've mentioned Adam Bomb like a lot already. We haven't seen him yet. They're really hyping this guy up. So you got to think, if you're Adam Bomb, you got a lot to live up to with your first episode of Raw.
Yeah, and I do like the focus on it. I'm just wondering if they're introducing too many potential top heels at one time.
I was just going to say, not necessarily too many young talents coming in, but like you said, the heel part.
Yeah.
A lot of heels coming in, and there's a lot of strong heels already. A lot of big guys that are heels. I thought it was interesting. I was thinking kind of this whole time, and maybe it's too much for a guy like Adam Bomb, but it would be so cool if they did like an air raid siren every couple of minutes on Raw, or like, a bomb squad was in, somewhere in the arena, or something like siren, something like that, where it was hyping up the bomb is going to drop on Monday Night Raw tonight.
I just thought of something stupid. What if they had the bomb squad in there and we heard there's an atom bomb? Everybody's got to evacuate.
Maybe so that's too much.
Right. But they're freaking out, right? So oh my God. And then Atom Bomb comes walking out, and they just look at each other like,
are you fucking kidding me?
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's get out. It's a wrestler.
Right.
We thought there was an Atom Bomb.
Like, that would have been cool. Something like that, though, where you make it a little bit more special than just guys walking out. I think if you would have done an air raid siren every couple of minutes with the commentary like, oh, Atom Bomb's on his way. Well, it's getting closer.
Did we get a vignette for Atom Bomb?
No.
Okay, so that could have been like a vignette if Johnny Polo was his manager. So let's say Johnny Polo's at the gym.
Okay.
Or wherever. And he's just like, I'm working on this Atom Bomb that's going to blow
He's
up
like in a lab.
Yeah.
He's
I'm going to blow up the WWF, right? So that's like week 1. So then week 2, you have the bomb squad. We're like, all right, guys. This Johnny Polo's got an Atom Bomb. We have the search warrant and everything. We got to make sure we get this going. We're good. They storm open the door or whatever, and there's Atom Bomb, working out or something. And Polo's like, yeah. And he's like, listen to what? no, this is my atom bomb.
Or he's like, go, get out of here, get out of here.
Yeah,
you
but you can
it's
see
not
like
ready
atom bomb,
yet.
but you can
It's
see
not
it,
ready
but
yet.
you can see the guy.
Yeah.
Right, like his back or something.
Yeah,
He's
it's not finished.
Yeah, but then like they're like, what? Who? What's that?
Yeah.
Who is that?
Yeah.
That's bigger than an atom bomb.
Right.
Something stupid.
They could have easily done so much better with it.
Sure.
If you you know what, Johnny Polo, I think could have pulled it off too. I don't like the character.
Well, he's like a rich, snobby guy, right?
Yeah, like a country club guy.
Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck? So if you dress him up as a scientist or something, and he's like Johnny Polo, but I've been working, like you said, I've been working on this project.
Well, you know, you could even like a country. So let's say he's like playing tennis or something, okay, and he loses to some guy. So this would build up months.
You'd have to.
Months of shit.
Yeah.
So if he loses a tennis match, he doesn't agree with the call. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna get my revenge. You know?
Maybe it's like maybe it's like Savage. He's playing against Savage, and it's like, oh, you're on Monday Night Raw every week. I got something for you.
I get better. How about Bob Backlund? Playing golf with Bob Backlund.
Oh my God.
Okay. So like, and Polo goes to get like a par on like the 18th hole or whatever, and he misses it. And Backlund's just like, oh, I did it. I beat you, Polo.
God.
Some way to get in the context of
Yeah,
it. I don't know how you can do it.
yeah.
Maybe like a charity event. You could have like a charity event, and like Polo's just freaking out. Like, I can't believe I lost.
Yeah.
To these people.
Yeah.
And like Backlund maybe just rubs it in.
Right.
You know, all good and fun. And Polo's like, I don't want to be embarrassed. I'm going to get revenge on Back. I'm going to get revenge on the WWF for showing footage of me losing to a 43-year-old man.
Oh, my God.
You know what? I'm going to bring a bomb to Raw. What? No, don't bring a bomb. No, I'm going to bring an atom bomb. And they're like, no.
Not that.
So on this episode, Johnny Polo's like, I brought my atom bomb. And then the bomb squad can come out.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, don't
we're shutting
do it.
this down.
Johnny,
like, you can't do it.
don't do it. Come on, Atom Bomb. And they're like, what? And here comes Atom Bomb.
And he beats up the
And
whole
beats
bomb.
the shit out of the bomb squad.
Beats him up. Beats the hell out of him.
Sure.
Destroys Bob Backlund.
Yeah.
And it's like, here's my
my
atom
monster.
bomb. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah. Instead of, oh, Atom Bomb's coming out tonight, and he walks out.
Yeah.
What
Like,
the
no
fuck?
no vignettes on Raw. Like, I for
Nothing.
sure don't remember any of it. There could
Nothing.
have been vignettes on Superstars wrestling channels. I'm sure that
Whatever,
happened.
but still.
Nothing happened for us if we're just watching
Yeah.
Raw.
He's just showing up.
Yeah. I mean, if there's some backstory to it, it's even more big. Like, it's even better.
Yeah.
Because if you're just watching Raw,
Right.
okay,
Which
and
we're pretty much doing.
yeah,
Yeah.
aside from like the Superstars matches or whatever.
Right.
But if you're just strictly watching the whole program of Raw, and they're hyping up Atom Bomb, you're at home. You're gonna be like, who the fuck is Atom Bomb?
Yeah.
Like, there's been no mention of this guy. I don't know who that is.
That's how I'm taking it.
Yeah, but if you were to start right after WrestleMania, okay, and you show footage of like
Yes.
a golf tournament from WrestleMania and this Johnny Polo guy,
Right.
you could even be like, oh, he was part of, the crew that day or whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah, yeah.
embarrassed.
Yeah.
They lost to Bob Backlund.
Yep.
Gives the context of Backlund was there for WrestleMania, so it makes sense.
Right.
And then you build up a month and a half later, here's Atom Bomb.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
I don't know.
Something.
Yeah. But we didn't get that.
What do we know? We're just fans.
We're just guys. We don't know the wrestling business.
Yeah.
So coming out of the Crush match, we have an All-American ad with Mean Gene and Bobby Heenan.
Same one.
Yeah, the same old stuff. And it's noted here that there will be an exclusive match on the show between Bam Bam Bigelow and Bob Backlund. Hey, wait, yeah.
That's a real barn burner.
Yeah, it is.
That'll put some butts in the seats.
It would.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bam Bam Bigelow's a star.
That young whippersnapper, Bob Backlund.
He's 43 years old.
Yeah.
Remember when I was like liking him?
Yeah, well, I do.
Yeah, that was good times.
Yeah, that was good.
So we go to the ring, and Vince McMahon is there, and he's ready for an interview. And he brings out Razor Ramon. Now, reminder here was that Ramon lost to the Kid last week. So McMahon couldn't believe his eyes when Ramon was pinned by the youngster, and Ramon suggests that McMahon should just laugh it up. Ramon calls him, the Kid, the cockroach, and claims that he didn't lose to him. Ramon says nobody beats the bad guy, and everybody knows that he is the man. The fans begin to chant 1, 2, 3 to get under Ramon's skin. Ramon doesn't know his name and says he's someone important. So he doesn't know the Kid's name, is what he's saying.
Right. How about Ramon's look here? Shirtless with all his jewelry and fucking sweatpants.
Yes.
I don't get it.
He just got out of the shower.
Doesn't make sense. Ramon continues by saying, hey, stick man. He calls him stick man because he's like scrawny.
A stick, yeah. I got it.
I know I had to clear that up.
Well, to be honest with you, when I was listening to it, I thought he was referencing McMahon because he had the microphone. But it's not.
No,
He's definitely regarding the kid.
It's him calling him basically a twig.
Yeah.
He throws down a challenge.
A challenge, you say?
Throws down a challenge.
What kind of challenge?
Kind of a weak one.
Okay.
He offers the kid, the stick man, $2,500, $2,500 to step in the ring with him one more time so he can prove that last week was a fluke. That obviously Razor's trying to goad him into getting back in the ring so he can fucking put a beating on him. So
Yes.
the challenge is laid down.
So he's like, hey, kid, I'll give you some money so I can kick your ass.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He says that nobody calls Razor Ramon a loser. To which Savage immediately on commentary goes, "You're a loser!" Like, immediately. It's like, I wish that was on the house mic so Razor could have just fucking flipped.
Lost his mind.
Yeah.
Or like Savage just he grabs it. You're a loser! What?
What a dick. Love it. I love it.
What if Savage did that and then he just jumped the railing and left? He's like, ran. You're a loser. Yeah.
He's like holding the mic and he's like getting ready to run and he says it, throws the mic down and runs out.
If Repo Man was a babyface,
oh my god,
and he did that, you're a loser. And he just ran away.
Oh my god,
that would have been funny.
But yeah, go ahead, Bob. I had to throw the challenge out there for the stick man.
Right. So he'll have nobody laughing at him. Nobody will call him a loser. You mentioned that Savage says that. So McMahon brings up the King of the Ring tournament and how Ramon will be wrestling Bret Hart. And that brings out Bret Hart to the ringside area. Ramon isn't happy about seeing Bret Hart. As Hart gets on the microphone and continues the 1, 2, 3 chant. At first, Bret's microphone wasn't working, but eventually it gets going there. Hart insults Ramon for not having the ability to get through one of the bottom guys, one of the rookies. And Hart thinks that he'll win 1, 2, 3 at the pay-per-view because Ramon hasn't done his homework. And that leads to Ramon flipping out in the ring to end the segment. As I believe the fans are still chanting, 1, 2, 3.
I liked this. I thought it was good. I thought it was effective. I personally am really digging the little bit they've done with Razor and Kid. I think it's really good.
Yeah, no, I'm a big guy on continuation.
Yeah.
So they didn't wait a week. They didn't wait 2 weeks. They did the next week.
Immediately.
And I think that's great. And it plays into the Bret Hart match at King of the Ring, so it gives even more depth to that tournament match where it's not just two guys wrestling.
Right.
So there's a purpose there. And just judging by the reaction here, I mean, they're liking doing the whole 1, 2, 3 thing.
Oh yeah.
It seems pretty quickly here that WWF might have a little bit of momentum with the new character.
For sure, and even it's funny because Savage is sitting there, and he's repeatedly standing on his chair, and counting out with the crowd 1, 2, 3. So he's like kind of leading the ringside chant, as Ramon's like trying to be like, "No, I'm the star." And he's just getting completely outshined because the crowd is just really chanting for 1, 2, 3. I don't know, maybe it's next episode, but we didn't get a breakout of "We Want the Kid." So I think this kid's gonna catch on pretty quick.
No, I do too.
Yeah,
and I'm actually totally fine with it.
me too.
I'm always in favor of an underdog. We go back to the commentary table, where Bobby Heenan is flipping through the channels, which is a weekly thing now, it seems, at this point. But as he's doing it, like kind of the picture goes kind of staticky or whichever, and then Johnny Polo appears and tells Heenan not to change the channel because here comes Adam Bomb. A little corny.
Weak way to do it.
Yeah.
Because you've already established the fact that the only reason Bobby's flipping through the channels is because he doesn't give a shit about what's happening in Raw.
Well, he made a mention here. I just want to see what else is on there because nothing can match Raw. It's kind of a stupid reason, though, because it doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, I ain't buying it.
So Bomb looks like a monster as he comes into the WWF. He's probably about 6'7", maybe 6'8".
Mm-hmm.
Probably more so closer to 6'8".
I was going to say, yeah.
But he has a very good body. And he previously worked in Smoky Mountain Wrestling as the Night Stalker. And my memories of that was he's toned here. He's
Okay.
muscular and toned.
All right.
When he was the Night Stalker, I mean, he was muscle, but he wasn't toned. He was a big guy,
Oh.
very big guy.
And what is the character for the Night Stalker? Like a
Well, he was
killer in the night, or like what?
kind of like he was like a henchman for Kevin Sullivan
Oh.
in a feud with like Brian Lee
Okay.
in late '92,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
early '93. So I mean, the Night Stalker, I guess, would be killer of the night.
Yeah.
That general idea of it.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, the Kevin Sullivan Brian Lee feud was enjoyable at
Was
the
it?
time. And Night Stalker wasn't a bad talent.
Right.
I thought when I remember watching that stuff, I was like, oh, I can see the potential. I can see why
Okay.
the WWF would eventually want to get him, and sure enough, he did.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of that. We have to be fair though and mention that we did get some old video footage of a bomb test in the ocean, so we got like a tiny bit of a vignette before he came out.
Well, isn't that for like the like if it was Superstars, that'd be on the screen.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like his entrance video.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
So, I mean, to be fair, we haven't seen something like that on Raw yet. So I took it as like a very, very cheap way to be like, oh, we're going to hype him up a little bit. Because it was literally maybe, I don't know, 10 seconds or not even a footage. And then they cut into his entrance. So it's like,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. Because I mean, I think he does that for most of his time there. Is it the
Yeah.
little,
Now, do you like Johnny Polo as his manager?
I don't really think it makes a lot of sense.
I don't like it.
Just from a character standpoint, I don't know why the country club kid would have Adam Bomb.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it.
And maybe there'll be some context brought into it. I like Johnny Polo. I think there's a role for him.
Scott
just
as
not.
Johnny Polo is very annoying for me.
Well, that's the point, and I think I like that.
I don't know. I don't like it.
Like, I think later on when he kind of gets associated with a tag team, that's far better.
Yeah. Oh, I
the
could. Yeah,
direction.
yeah. I don't know who. Okay, so if you don't have Polo manage him,
Mhm.
who do you pick? Because I have my pick. I think I know who I'd have.
Well, I would kind of have him associated with like Bigelow and Luna.
Okay. I can
Adam
see
Bomb,
that.
Bigelow, Fiery stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So what? Maybe Luna accompanies him out to the ring?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I could see Sherry doing it.
No.
I wouldn't want
No,
Sherry doing
me
it.
neither.
Whippleman,
That's who I was gonna say.
yeah,
To be honest with you, a
Whipple
businessman who maybe bought himself an Atom Bomb.
yeah,
Like, oh, this is my Atom Bomb.
right.
You know.
Kind of get his own little heel stable going
That's
with
what I'm
Hughes,
thinking.
Gonzalez, and Bomb. Like they're all big guys.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
That's probably a better choice. So Adam Bomb here, I guess, is considered the main event. He is taking on Phil Apollo. Bomb
Not
works,
a good choice.
Yeah,
Not a good choice.
we don't really. Have we seen a lot of Phil Apollo yet?
No, but give him a young guy you can throw
No, yeah,
around.
yeah. No, yeah. PJ Walker.
PJ
Scott
Walker.
Taylor. Yeah, I agree. Bomb works over Apollo with kicks in the corner and then drives Apollo into the corner face first. And then Bomb hip tosses Apollo out of the corner and then connects with a standing drop kick. Bomb drives Apollo down on the mat with a back suplex. And Bomb puts himself over at this point as being destruction.
Yeah, he goes, he yells to the crowd, I am destruction. I am Atom Bomb. I think it's a little corny,
Gotta love it. I love when people use their name.
but
Like when a TV show says their name title.
yeah,
It's good stuff.
I don't know.
Bomb dumps Apollo to the floor and then sends Apollo into the guard railing back first. Bomb heads to the top rope and hits a flying clothesline. Good agility
Yeah,
for the big guy. Like
Absolutely.
Efforts, made it look like he's natural at doing it.
yep.
At that point, Bomb picks up Apollo and then plants him with the power bomb for the win. I'm digging Adam Bomb. I like the look. Sure, the manager part doesn't make much sense, but I thought he showcased good agility. And I'm always a fan of a power bomb for a finisher.
And I'll tell you what, it looked like a pretty nasty power bomb for the finish.
Well, I
here.
like when he goes down. With
Oh
it.
yeah.
Instead of just like dropping him.
No,
when
no,
you go
no.
down,
Oh,
it looks
yeah.
a lot better.
You're going down with it.
Yeah.
I really, really like the look, the hair in the face, the tall, big, huge dude. Not a fan of the gardening gloves that he fucking wears. Not a fan of those. But for some reason, man, I don't know what it is with Adam Bomb. There's like something special there for me. And I'm not the biggest fan of his career, Adam Bomb and otherwise.
Mhm.
But he has it. It is present.
Yeah.
So-
I think just from a physical standpoint, I could see this guy getting a significant push.
Yeah, totally.
And I wouldn't be against it.
Yeah.
You know, a big guy that can fly around.
Mm-hmm.
You know, kind of reminds you of maybe Kane.
Yeah.
In that regard.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Because when he did the clothesline, I was like, oh,
Oh.
Kane does that.
No, that's a good comparison. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would honestly want to say that Adam Bomb probably would have more in-ring ability than the Kane character. Like, in comparison to starting out.
It's not as restricted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can be still Adam Bomb and still, kind of jump around and whip people's asses.
Right.
With Kane, you got to be slow and, methodical.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for. Anyway, I would consider that a successful debut. Like I
For sure.
I want to see
I'm
this guy
sold. I want to see more.
See more of him. Yeah.
Yep.
It's mentioned next week that Bam Bam Bigelow will get an opportunity to win the WWF Intercontinental Championship from Marty Jannetty. And the counter team highlights what else we'll see next week with the Steiner brothers, Mr. Hughes, and Jim Duggan all in action. And then we see Bigelow warming up backstage for some reason. Like, oh, hey, there's Bigelow. He's getting ready.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, are we going to get another match?
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I was like, okay, cool.
I thought.
I can, that's fine with me. So we get a WWF figures ad, and then we return, and then we go backstage for Bam Bam Bigelow to cut a promo. Now, I just want to point out that before the figures ad, like, Bigelow's legitimately doing squats.
Yep.
Like, he's getting
working out.
He's getting ready.
Yeah.
You're thinking, okay, cool, action.
Yep.
Well, he's warming up for a promo because he's backstage. He cuts a promo saying that he's ready for all kinds of action. Luna Vachon will be in his corner, while Sherry Martel will be in Marty Jannetty's corner next week. And Bigelow picked Luna to take care of Sherry because Sherry has gotten in his business before, and he won't let that happen again.
Yeah, I took this as what I assumed is he's taking on Marty next week, but they're taping it now. So I'm assuming the live crowd up next is getting the match.
Well, I'm going to explain to you that that's inaccurate. So I like the reasoning, though, and I like that Luna's going to be probably more associated with Bigelow moving forward.
Perfect.
It makes him a lot of sense.
Perfect.
So that's the end of the program.
Yes.
So that's it.
Yeah.
So to explain why Bigelow was warming up and is in his gear is that he actually wrestled Bret Hart on this show.
Okay.
And it was aired for the Italian version of WWF Superstars.
Oh, that's weird.
Right. So that would explain why Bret Hart came out in his gear.
Oh.
Didn't wrestle.
Okay.
Why would he be there?
Right.
So it was, in fact, because he wrestled Bam Bam Bigelow in, a dark match.
How weird.
But was aired on the Italian version of WWF Superstars.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
just thought I'd
bizarre.
throw that out there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not even for an upcoming Raw.
No. Because next week's episode is live. So
Okay.
it wouldn't be for that reason.
Well, yeah, I just assumed that that's probably what was going to happen. I think my way makes way more sense, but whatever. All right, so what did we think of this Raw? Because I have a couple comments.
All right. I thought it was pretty good. There was a good match between Doink and Perfect, the debut of Adam Bomb, the continuation of Ramon and Kid. It seemed like for the most part there was direction, consistency in the segments.
Yes.
Like everything seemingly served a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, for a 45-minute episode of Raw, I liked it. It made a lot of sense.
I think it flew by.
Yes.
Very easy watch, very entertaining watch. This is the stuff in '93 that I would stray people to, as opposed to the Mad Monk. Like, I'm straying you away from that. And
Why'd you have to bring that up?
Oh, I'm just saying. Like, and I'm pointing you to this.
Gosh.
Like, watch this episode. Beginning of the program, beginning of the podcast this week, I talked about Adam Bomb and where I'd like to see him go, and Marty Jannetty. I want to see a feud between Marty Jannetty and Adam Bomb. I think they'd have awesome matches. There's a good visual there. And of course, knowing Marty Jannetty, he might not be sticking around long. Put the title on Adam Bomb. Make a star real quick.
You know what? That's not a bad idea. Oddly enough, I would kind of say, on some level, that they have a very similar style.
Yes.
I mean, Bomb is
They do.
probably, 6 inches taller, 8 inches? Than Janae? Janae's probably 6 foot.
Yeah.
6
I would
maybe.
say he's probably got a
5'11".
solid 7 inches on him.
At least.
Solid.
Somewhere around that range.
Yeah.
But no, I think that'd be pretty good.
I think it would be fucking
Adam
awesome.
Bomb is Intercontinental Champion?
Yeah. With a feud with Marty Jannetty. First of all, that gives Adam Bomb some pretty good credibility because Marty Jannetty's not some Joe Schmo. He's been in the WWF for fucking ever. IC champ. And that kind of breaks him away from what we talked about earlier. You got all these heels. It's an influx of big heels. Break him from the pack early. Slap a belt on him and say, okay, you got all these heels, but Adam Bomb's a little something different. He's going to be something different. He's going to be, like Bobby Heenan said, the force of the 90s.
Right.
As your IC champion. I'm doing it. I'm saying go with it.
I wonder with them saying that if they thought, this guy could potentially be big.
I believe that.
Just judging by the first match there,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Right.
Just put him in there with Jannetty. Put him in there with Tatanka.
I'm thinking they had high hopes.
For Shawn Michaels.
For Adam. Oh, my God, yeah.
Yeah. I agree with you.
I don't know.
So what did you think of the whole show?
I loved it. I thought it was a very great episode. The past 3 weeks have been
stellar.
Near flawless.
Yeah.
Like, if Raw was like this in today's age, like this entertaining, 45 minutes, I would watch religiously every week.
Yeah.
Every week.
I agree with you.
Influx of new talent, action, decent promos, just the atmosphere of finally we're getting into, hey, Raw is kind of unexpected. Doink's on the outside of the arena, and oh, look, now he's in the inside of the arena. Do I like the magician stuff with Doink? Not necessarily, but does it contribute to the overall presentation of Raw? Yes, it does.
Right.
So they're doing a lot of things right here, and it's about time because, like we said, it was a little bit of a trot on the way to May. So I'm glad that things are really, really ramping up in a big way.
I wonder if we could maybe even say SummerSlam this year could potentially be what WrestleMania should be.
Yes. That's
like
what I was thinking.
They're getting their flow, and that's the big event.
That's what I was thinking.
I think that's probably a fair thing.
Yep.
So to continue on with the Adam Bomb thing, I kind of reached out to various outlets here to maybe get some responses. Naturally, I was an idiot and really focused on it about 4 hours before we decided to record this.
Oh, really?
We got a few people to, kind of share their thoughts on it.
Okay.
So a gentleman who goes by Smash TV from Freaking Awesome Network message board shared his comments. And now these guys who comment pretty much kind of highlight stuff that goes on after this.
Okay.
So we're not really spoiling anything. It's been 25 years, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
The thought that the name, let me start over. I thought the name was corny, but was initially impressed. He was a big guy, but quicker and more agile than expected, and thought he looked like a badass with long hair and a beard. I could see him in the Bam Bam Bigelow role of monster heel, but not necessarily a top guy. But he never really caught on. Turning him face seemed like a desperate move, or a chance to sell more merchandise with those little foam bombs he'd throw in the crowd. But again, the crowd just wasn't into him.
Oh, no.
So that kind of maybe gives you an idea of where his career's headed.
Well, that sounds fucking horrible. And I really hope that doesn't change my views of Adam Bomb. Oh, fuck.
Well, what he's really referencing is that's 95. I think that's when he turns face and stuff. That's still a year away. Jericho Holic 89, also from the Freaking Awesome Network message board. He says that he had a cool look and he showed good athleticism, especially compared to a lot of the other big guys. I thought his southern accent really hurt him, as it didn't fit his look and gimmick. It made him a lot less intimidating as a heel. Switching managers from Johnny Polo to Harvey Whippleman was the beginning of the end for him. Getting paired with Whippleman was the kiss of death for a heel in the mid-90s. That's an interesting point for the Whippleman thing, because Whippleman was associated with Kamala.
Yeah.
Kamala's dead.
Right.
And gone.
Right.
For the most part. Sid Vicious was with, Sid Justice was with Harvey Whippleman. Failed the drug test. Gone.
Yep, gone.
So what's going to happen with Mr. Hughes? Johnny Gonzalez sucks.
He's really fizzling out quick.
Yeah. So that's a pretty fair assessment.
Yeah, right. And really, if you think about it, Mr. Hughes in 93, what do you really remember of him?
Exactly.
You know, not much.
I do kind of find it interesting, though, that the Southern accent really hurt him.
I don't know if I say that.
I don't know if... Yeah, I don't know if I've ever been like, wow, that guy speaks
weird
with an accent.
What do you want him to sound
Well, here's
like?
right, I don't know.
Yeah.
But this is going to sound weird, and I don't want to offend anybody. So, like, accents don't bother me, but if someone has a lisp,
Oh.
so, like, your Jack Swagger, you know, something noticeable like that.
Especially as a heel.
Yeah. That, to me...
Maybe
like,
that's part of the heat, like, oh, he's got a lisp, you know?
I don't know.
But for me, like just
Cody Rhodes
watching,
has a little bit of a lisp.
I know he does.
But I like Cody.
Well,
Cody's all right. I mean, in ring, he's not the greatest guy.
and you know what?
But I can watch
I
him.
think his speech has improved
Yeah.
throughout the years.
But like Jack
'Cause it
Swagger's
used to be really bad.
Yeah, Jack Swagger's very noticeable.
Yeah, it's
So I remember when he first came in, I was like, okay, cool, this guy's like athletic and stuff. And he talked, and I was like, ugh.
Oh, you know who has a wicked bad one? Fucking that big NXT guy Lars. It's
Does he?
Dude, it is horrible. It's the worst
Interesting.
lisp I've ever heard in my life.
Again, I don't want to offend anybody. So if anybody out there has a lisp, or
I'm sorry.
Or somebody has a lisp, like I'm
Yeah.
genuinely not trying to offend you or anything like that. I'm just giving you the perspective of, you know, an accent.
Characters on TV.
Yeah.
That's what we're addressing here.
Right.
Characters on TV.
If someone has a speech impediment, I mean, I had a speech impediment growing up. I stuttered.
Yeah.
I couldn't pronounce words.
I still do.
Perfume was puffume to me. Anytime that I read some of these, sometimes I stumble over myself and I have to restart. You know,
Yeah,
it's a natural, you know, it's a thing that happens.
Right.
You know,
I'm saying character-wise.
Character-wise, like that.
I don't know necessarily if a Southern accent really hurts anything, though. Because if I'm thinking of Adam Bomb, you want him to kind of talk like low and deep, like, oh, I'm Adam Bomb.
The only thing I can think of with like, Adam Bomb, maybe he's supposed to be like this creature guy.
Oh, yeah.
Or, you know, like, oh, he survived.
Right. He's a product of
this meltdown thing.
Yeah, nuclear waste.
Yeah, and it was always just a Southern accent. I mean, that I could see as being
right.
unbelievable and disbelief or whatever.
Right.
For sure, I understand that. So also, Mike Campbell, who's a regular guy, who maybe someday will be on IcoPod. Who knows?
Great.
Don't get
Writings on the wall.
Don't get jealous, Joe.
No.
Whatever, Joe. Whatever.
Gian Fortune?
Garfield or something.
No, Gian Fortune. He's awesome.
Okay, Gian Fortune. I know. I don't know Joe.
No, he's a nice guy.
All right, he's all right. So Mike Campbell says, I remember the week before Superstar's debut, they were hyping him up, and Vince said, his name is Bomb. Adam Bomb. That's all he remembers.
Oh.
Yeah. So.
You know what? I can see how people make the argument, oh, his name's kind of corny. I like the...
His name is definitely corny.
Oh, right. Yeah. But I like the imagery of, like, the nuclear thing with the goggles. And I like that.
I like his theme music, which I'll be playing at the end of this episode.
His theme music. I don't know. What else do you call him? What else do you fucking call him?
Yeah, I don't know. Brian Clark, his name? They never really use the real names, though, at this point.
Name him Rad Radiation.
Oh, my God. Rad Radiation? Are you serious?
I don't know. What do you fucking call him?
Here's Rad Radiation.
Yeah, mine's well. There you go.
Brad Radiation?
Or Brad,
Here's
yeah.
Brad.
Oh, God.
Brad is such a douchebag name, by the way. Like,
Yeah.
how has there not been like a top heel named Brad?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, the only Brad I can think of is Brad Armstrong.
No, Brad Maddox.
Well, he was a douchebag.
Yeah, he was
Not top heel though.
No.
Yeah, but Brad Armstrong was like a nice guy.
Yeah.
Why can't there be a Brad? Like, I fucking hate Brad. Like that should be a guy.
So what do we call him? Brad Clark.
Brad
So
Clark.
Instead of Brian, it's Brad.
Yeah, Brad.
Clark.
Oh fuck, here's Brad.
Nuclear Brad.
Or like instead of Johnny Polo, like Brad Polo.
Oh God.
See?
That's
Fuck, here's Brad. Yeah, he wears polos. Oh God, he's the worst.
All right, so here's
He doesn't wear an undershirt.
all right, so here's Adam Bomb's new name. It's gonna be Nuclear Brad Clark.
Done.
Sold.
You're sent out the garden tomorrow.
Sold.
done. Nuclear Brad Clark against The Undertaker.
You can't even say it.
I almost said Blad. Speaking of speech impediments.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess what do you do? Adam Bomb. Okay. Whatever.
Yeah, that was
Yeah. It's WrestleCraft, folks.
very little effort.
Yeah.
I would have to say.
That's as bad as Chili McFreeze for Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh, that was supposed to be his name, right?
Chili McFreeze. He might as well have called him Adam Bomb.
Yeah, could you get Stone Cold Steve Austin, Chili McFreeze?
That would have got over.
Oh, fuck yeah.
What does Cornette call it? Cornette, I think, calls it the marquee test. Like, if you can't see that on the marquee of Madison Square Garden, obviously it's probably not a good fucking
Come see
name.
Chili McFreeze.
Yeah, it's probably not too good. Adam Bomb.
I would have thought that was a play.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
no.
Chili McFreeze, like, Broadway is at the Garden?
It sounds like a McDonald's drink.
Yes,
like
for
the
sure.
Chili McFreeze.
Yes.
Come try it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's made with rattlesnake blood. Chili McFreeze.
Chili
Oh,
McFreeze.
shit. That's horrible.
Like it's nuclear Brad Clark.
Go book it.
That's some fucking...
Book it.
Those are some names you'd see rustling in a parking lot at Kmart.
Yeah.
You know?
Don't give any ideas
Yeah,
out.
who
Bob.
knows? What did I just start?
Yeah.
That's pretty bad. All right, well, this is episode 21?
21,
Do you have
baby.
anything else you want to point out or say before we wrap it up here?
The bomb has dropped,
The atom bomb.
and we're dropping out of here.
Oh, okay. All right, well, for Austin Skinner, I'm Bob Collins Jr., and you've been listening to IcoPod.
You gotta hear it.